In this video, I'm going to show you some ideas for holding the tension off on a serpentine belt on three different vehicles. We've got a Hyundai here, 2.4 liter, and we'll start with that one. We'll move on to a Dodge 3 liter. Again, using some fairly simple tools, keep the tension off so the belt can be slipped on and off rather easily. And finally, I'll finish up with a brief section on the 5.4 liter Ford V8. So, thanks for watching. Let's take a look at a Hyundai 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, and what we're going to use on this particular belt is a turnbuckle. One end will pass through the box end of the wrench attached to the tensioner, and the other end is going to be attached to an S-hook that's on a bracket on the wheel well. And in order to, as we shorten this, we're going to pull the belt tension off, allowing us to slip the old belt off and a new one on. Now on a Dodge 3 liter, we'll use a little different method as we loosen the belt. So there are three components here that are running, that the belt runs around. The alternator, you're probably not going to be able to see it way down in the bottom. Down there is a power steering pump pulley, and down here is the crankshaft. And then there's also an idler right here. And here is the tensioner, right there. Okay, so now let's put our 15 millimeter end of the double box end on the tensioner. Bring it down. I've got a screwdriver ready now. I'm going to bring this down like this, pretty much close to as far as I can. Stick my screwdriver through the other end of the box end, and then kind of probe around, because there is a hole in there, and there it is. It's held in there, and there's the view. I'm using this engine mount, this circular engine mount with rubber, and the screwdriver actually is in a little hole that runs through it, and it makes a really nice secure lockdown of that tensioner. Okay, we're going to slip the belt off with the holding tools in place, just to simplify it. So it's going to come off the alternator, and then just kind of wiggle it a little bit to get it off the power steering pump, and then pull it up, pull the loop up, and again you can get down here and pull it off of the crankshaft, and then up it comes. Okay, to install this with our holding tools in place, what we're going to do is slip it between the idler and the tensioner, and then over the crankshaft, take another loop, slip it between the alternator and tensioner, and then slip that over the power steering pump. Then all that remains is to put the remaining loop over the alternator. It's just easier this way. You can leave the holding tools in place and just use gaps to feed it. Okay, so first loop from the idler and the tensioner. I got one hand I'm picking it out with, opening it up and putting it around the crank shaft. You got that around there all the way. This is the hard part to kind of show on here because there just isn't room, but I've got to slip now a loop over the top of the tensioner, and then down around the power steering pump. My arm, I apologize, gets in the way here, but there's little I can do about it. Power steering pump, when you get that centered, and that may take a little bit of a struggle. It's a reach down in there, and I'm going to probably get it right off the bat in there. Or did I get lucky? Not good lucky. These things can be a struggle. Okay, if everything's centered, let's give it a shot and see if we got lucky. Okay, it looks like we're good. So we can take our tension holder out, just pull the screwdriver out of there, and we're back. Not so hard. Okay, finally we're going to look at Ford's 5.4 liter, and we're going to use a breaker bar in the slot in the tensioner on this one. And this is probably the easiest one of all, because as you move this tensioner, a slot opens up in the top of the tensioner, and all you need to do now is find a tool. In this case, I'm using a chisel that's approximately the right size. Stick it in that gap, and then let the wrench back a little bit, and it will jam the tensioner to where the belt is loose enough to pull off the top of the alternator. And after that, all you need to do is feed it through, find a gap between several pulleys, and I'm not going to show all that detail this time, but it's a very good method to use. You can also use a strap. I cut this strap to exactly the width that would fit in there. If you can't find a tool that'll fit in there, this is a way to go. Okay, so those are my methods that I use when I do serpentine belts. And I think they work really well. Thanks for watching.